It's a movie. Hey, yo, we're about to move. We're about to get on Fox because SmackDown's leaving Fox.
Shut the fuck. Shut.
And then we're taking Fox.
You know, Fox and Warner Brothers.
No! Oh shit! Say it again. Say something else.
It's getting nasty outside. I'm telling you.
TBS, and Fox.
Oh!
We got all three of them things. And Tony Khan lets me do whatever I want.
Oh, what?
And he owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's fire. Hey, yo,
Get that out of here.
We all know the source for this one is trustmebro.com/bullshit. That's exactly the website that AEW fans got this from.
The joke here is that they think that they made over 1 million viewers by combining their max numbers with TBS. How fucking hilarious.
Numbers with AEW are overlapping and they're bringing in brand new viewers. That's not the case, bro. This is the best joke they ever told. That's it. This has to be the best joke. The best April Fool's joke that All Elite Snooze Fest Pro Wrestling has ever told. AEW thinks they averaged over 1 million viewers overall, right? Over each week with the combined numbers on Max and TBS. But that seems kind of fishy, right? When your show on average is only bringing in, Prince, no, barely 600,000 viewers, Prince? Gosh, you gotta be joking. Well, where did the other 500,000 viewers come from, Prince? I don't know. Y'all tell me. And then wait a second. If I'm not mistaken, y'all, didn't they get beat by NXT again by falling below the 600,000 margin? Weren't they in like the 500K somewhere? I haven't been on social all week, but I know it was somewhere in that range. I got to go back to Brandon Thurst's channel, bro. But are they for real right now? I can't, man. This is just hilarious. This is hysterical. It's embarrassing overall to say that these niggas don't know how to do simple math. They're crackheads, bro. They're fiends. They fiends for attention. Slave Strickland's over there trying to get attention on Vlad TV. They're standing out on the corner right now with the cup in their hands like this. They got the cup out, sign in the other hand. They got the wooden sign in the other hand and shit. They in the middle of the roadway, scratching their neck with, the little white powder and stuff on their lips, just trying to get attention somehow, asking people to watch their god awful show. Garbage. Their ticket prices are pennies now. Pennies and dimes. Peanuts. That you can afford those shows at any given moment. Scrap yourself up some couch change, bruh. Go watch you some lame ass gymnastics when they come on and when they come to town. Go do that because you'll be better off. That's all you'll be getting when you watch these AEW shows now. You'll be better off watching gymnastics. Attendance is at an all-time low. But wait a second. Hey, let me sum this up because if you think about it, the math just ain't mathing when it comes to this, bro. When it comes to this claim that they're now pulling in over 1 million viewers every week. It's just not mathing, bro. Now, I was an English major coming up. I was never necessarily a math person myself, y'all, but you ain't got to be a brainiac to know simple math, simple adding and subtraction, okay? All right, now hold up. How are you going to steal a cheap victory like this, Tony Khan? It makes no sense. Like, all excuses pro wrestling, bro, all they're doing is finding another excuse to cope with. That math is not mathing, and I'm going to tell y'all why in a second. Because I'm going to save all of us some time, and I'm going to pull up the max numbers from March. Now, don't trust these numbers in full, y'all. You can never necessarily trust them. Everything is kind of changing these days with the internet, bro. Nothing's guaranteed and set in stone, right? But these were the recorded max numbers that I'll be going over with y'all right before we wrap this video up. Now, for starters, how can you... These dummies don't even think that people will actually have common sense to scratch their heads and ask questions because they plan on the sickos just eating up this bullshit. For starters, how can you draw just slightly over 600,000 viewers on average on TV, but yet over on Max, all of a sudden you claim to be drawing in an additional 81% of that exact same number.
That shit is fucking trash, dog. Get the fuck off the airwaves.
The same number. That's the part that I'm. Oh man, this company gives me a fucking aneurysm. I told y'all that before, bro. I cannot. This is the exact same number. And these fans eat it up. And they dick ride this company and defend it to the dick fall off, bro. They ride that shit. They ride that pony until it falls off for Tony Khan and AEW, bro. They don't care. Those fans, they don't care. But the ones that's got common sense, like me and you and everybody watching this channel, we got common sense. We ask the questions. We choose our mind over matter, bro. Dude, that's literally where the other half of the same audience is. They're over there. Over on Max. It's the same audience from TBS. So you didn't gain anybody new.
Ass.
That's called cheating. I'm pretty sure that's the definition of cheating, right? Just ways to get what they consider the top of the mountain, right? This is their version of getting to the top of the mountain by collecting any cheap victory that they can collect right now because they're desperate. Desperate is actually a fucking understatement for this shit show and this god awful company, bro. They will be acknowledged in the way people have always portrayed them. They're not going to get the acknowledgement they're looking for. No, they're going to be acknowledged in the way people have always portrayed them. And that is clowns. They're a clown act, bro. A clown show. I was looking forward to this company beating the shit out of WWE and Vince McMahon at the time to get them to learn how to do some real booking, to get Vince and company off his ass, to actually want to book something solid. But no. After the first 3 years, they gave up on that mission. They did away with that mission. Vince McMahon rolled out, and it was the worst thing that ever happened to Tony Khan. They're a circus act. How cheap and low is that for Tony of a boss to take a cheap victory like this? You know damn well if this victory was legit, Tony Khan would have been the very first person on the Twitter machine to go and actually tout these numbers out. Tell me I'm spitting facts. Tell me when I'm telling lies. A so-called leader to his company, right? Telling bald-faced lies like this, but you're a leader of your company. Nobody thought to ask when Tony was doing all that bragging about how AEW was in the lead here, you know, how they would whoop NXT's ass over there, right? Nobody was thinking to ask questions of what did the numbers really look like when they was whooping NXT's ass. Because there were weeks when NXT was able to come back on them, bro. You're doing all that bragging about how they were whooping NXT's ass. Man, how mighty how fallen, because now how the tables are turned. NXT has been owning them for weeks, ever since they moved over to the CW, bro. What a legit fall from grace. This is the cheapest victory they ever stolen. They took a lot of cheap wins. From 2019 to 2021, that's when AEW was legit. They had CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Jon Moxley. All others to help them get that consistently. So you're telling me that without those three major names, this company turned it all around with Powerhouse Hobbs jobbing. This company turned it around with Will Nospray. This company turned it around with Speedball Mike Bailey of all people, right? That's what you're trying to tell me? It just turned it around overnight and we're back and making 1 million views. The most important fucking viewership is going to come from the live audience. Let me get this clear. Let me get this through your brains. The live audience is the number one viewership that matters because it is the viewership that tells you where the overall interest is in the company. Tell me when I'm telling lies. But they don't get it, y'all. They refuse to get it. They refuse to accept it. This is, I swear, back when in 2019, when Vince was making sleep-inducing content in WWE, and his absolute worst year ever, 2019, AEW was introduced to us, bro. And ever since then, after that first 3 years, they have been taking that knife and jamming it in the back of their fans, bro. For no reason. Stabbing them in the back. They took that knife and they stabbed their fans in the back. Now they're even turning their backs on their sickos. That's literally telling them that Jon Moxley retaining that dynasty ain't it. Questionable decisions like that happen constantly on a week-to-week basis. But you're telling me that type of content is enough to bring in over 1 million fucking views, bro, over on Max? I don't give a shit if that was the case. So let's play pretend for a second like it was. Dude, there is still the same amount of people watching the show that was watching on TV. We're going to ask the real questions. Like, isn't it possible that the same people who are watching on TNT could be watching over on Max? Real questions. We're going to ask them, Tony. If all of this is true, Doja Cat is going to be in my front door, butt naked, serving me some strawberries the whole night. If they're making over 1 million views, bro. Adam Coleslaw bringing in 1 million. Harley Cameron, you stop her momentum against Mercedes Moné to look like a fucking clown and puppet. The damn puppet actually is bringing in more ratings than Mercedes, the real version. That's fucking sad.
It's just fucking tragic, bro. But before we get up out of here, as promised, the actual Max numbers that I had seen recorded just about over a week ago. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give you those Max numbers. And you guys tell me, as we get up out of here, if this matches and makes sense. Dynamite on 3/5, which is in March. 48,274 viewers over on Max. March 12th, the next week after, 16,180 viewers. March 19th, and we're editing this video out in a row, y'all. 7,483 viewers. So what are we adding up so far, y'all? So far, that's not scratching an extra 500,000 viewers to me. Kind of sounds to me like we're averaging 26,840 viewers, which was down 34% from the previous month. Which is in February. But y'all, keep on praising them for that victory, y'all. Keep on giving them a golf clap. Fuck up out of here. We gone, y'all. Big deuces, big pieces, man. And this company is just a parody. It's a parody. It's a comedy of itself. They will take any cheap victory and run with it and call it a day.